Welcome back to the Tamez Labs Startup Series, featuring the hottest startups in the world right now. I'm your host, Tripwire. Today on the show, Reflection AI, the company democratizing artificial intelligence by releasing fully open-source frontier models with publicly available weights. Picture this. It's the middle of a technology Cold War, and somewhere in Brooklyn, 60 people just raised $2 billion to do something that sounds completely insane. They're building AI models that could go toe-to-toe with GPT-4, Claude, anything the big labs are cooking up. And then they're going to give away the secret sauce. Not access, not API calls, the actual model weights that everyone else protects like their nuclear launch codes. This is Reflection AI, and whether you've heard of them or not, they're about to matter to your career. So what are they actually building? Reflection AI is creating frontier-scale large language models using mixture of experts architecture. Think of it this way. Instead of one massive brain doing all the work every single time, you've got hundreds of specialized mini-brains that light up only when they're needed. You need help with code? One team of experts activates. Writing marketing copy? Different experts take over. It's like having a whole agency on call, except you're only paying the people actually working on your project. That's efficiency. That's scale. That's how you compete with the giants without burning through compute like it's kindling. But here's where it gets interesting. They're applying the same reinforcement learning techniques that powered AlphaGo. Remember that? The AI that beat the world champion at Go and made everyone realize we'd crossed a threshold we didn't even know was there? Those same techniques are now being applied to language models, which means you're not just getting models that predict the next plausible word. You're getting models that learn to optimize for specific outcomes. Models that write code that actually compiles and runs, not just code that looks right at first glance. Models with what they call reliability guarantees in defined domains. That last phrase is critical. Reflection AI isn't promising magic. They're not claiming they've built God. Shocking, I know. What they're doing is smarter. They're taking a page from Waymo's playbook. Waymo doesn't say their cars can drive anywhere on Earth in any condition. They map specific areas, validate safety in those zones, then expand. Reflection AI is doing the same thing with AI capabilities. Start with autonomous coding agents. Prove superhuman performance there with actual reliability, then expand to other domains with the same rigor.
Building a new product? Tamez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at tamez.ai.
Their first frontier model drops soon, trained on tens of trillions of tokens. That's the scale where you're playing with OpenAI and Google, not startups in a garage. And while the training data and full pipeline stay proprietary, the model weights go public. Anyone can download them, customize them, build on them. Researchers can experiment, startups can integrate them, enterprises can fine-tune them for their specific needs. Governments can deploy them for sovereign AI systems without worrying about dependencies on foreign companies they can't audit or control. The platform handles everything. Large-scale pre-training to build the foundation. Advanced post-training using reinforcement learning to push performance beyond human level on specific tasks. The infrastructure to train these models at frontier scale, which most companies can't even access, let alone afford. They're starting text-based, but building toward full multimodal capabilities. Now here's why this matters, and why you should care even if you've never written a line of code. The frontier of AI right now is controlled by a handful of closed labs. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind. They have the capital, the compute, the talent. They build incredible systems. But you can't own them. You can't truly customize them. You can't inspect how they work. You pay by the API call and hope the company's interests align with yours. You're renting, not owning. Meanwhile, China's DeepSeek just proved you can build frontier-quality models with a fraction of the resources everyone thought were necessary. Their approach is open source, efficient, genuinely impressive. But if you're a Western enterprise or government, you've got a problem. Legal concerns, sovereignty concerns, supply chain concerns. You can't build your critical infrastructure on technology you don't control, especially when geopolitics look like this. That's the gap Reflection AI is filling. Frontier-scale open models with an American foundation. Not open in the "we'll give you API access" sense. Open in the "here are the actual weights, go build whatever you need" sense. For enterprises that want to embed AI without vendor lock-in. For governments developing sovereign systems they can actually control. For researchers who need to understand these systems to make them better and safer. The company is based in Brooklyn with about 60 people, but people undersells it. This team was assembled from the Frontier Labs themselves. The founders are Misha Laskin and Ioannis Antonoglou, both from Google DeepMind. Misha led reward modeling for Gemini, Google's answer to GPT-4. Before that, he was doing postdoc work at Berkeley in Peter Abiel's lab, co-authoring papers on reinforcement learning that the field still builds on. He started in quantum physics, but switched to AI after reading the AlphaGo paper, which he described as a real glimpse into what it will be like to live among superintelligence. Ioannis was employee 25 at DeepMind, researcher number 6. He was core team for AlphaGo, the system that beat Lee Sedol in a moment that changed how the world thought about AI. He was literally in the VIP suite at the Four Seasons in Seoul when it happened, sitting next to DeepMind founder Demis Hassabis. He later led reinforcement learning from human feedback for Gemini and developed the GPU and TPU optimization kernels that made AlphaGo and its successors possible. The rest of the team includes people who pioneered Palm, AlphaCode, AlphaProof, and contributed to ChatGPT. They started focused on autonomous coding agents, raised $130 million at a $500 million valuation. Then DeepSeek happened, and they realized the landscape had shifted. The world needed a Western, open-source frontier lab. 7 months later, they raised $2 billion at an $8 billion valuation. That's a 15x jump in half a year. The round included Sequoia, NVIDIA, multiple growth funds, and Eric Schmidt personally. Even David Sachs, the White House AI and crypto czar, publicly endorsed them. It's great to see more American open-source AI models. We want the US to win this category too. That's not typical Washington commentary. That's recognition that open-source AI is now a strategic priority.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
Their business model is straightforward. Free for researchers who want to experiment and push the technology forward, paid for large enterprises building products, and sovereign governments developing their own AI systems. The revenue comes from the same place Linux and other open-source infrastructure makes money: the platform, the support, the customization, the enterprise features that matter at scale. What makes their approach different isn't just that they're releasing model weights. Meta does that with Llama. Mistral does it in Europe. The difference is the combination of frontier-scale, reinforcement learning expertise from the AlphaGo lineage and a focus on reliability in specific domains. They're not trying to build a general chatbot that's pretty good at everything. They're building models that can achieve superhuman performance on defined tasks with actual guarantees. They talk about autonomous coding as AGI complete, the idea that if you can build a super intelligent software developer, the same algorithms can be applied to other verticals. Software development requires understanding requirements, planning, executing, debugging, testing, iterating. It's a microcosm of general intelligence. Crack that with real reliability, and you've got a foundation for expanding into other domains with the same rigor. The first frontier model is coming soon. Tens of trillions of tokens, mixture of experts architecture, advanced reinforcement learning, model weights released publicly. It's the opening move in a longer game. Building the open source frontier lab but the West needs as AI becomes infrastructure. $2 billion to give it away. That's the bet. That open software is what gets forked, customized, embedded into systems worldwide. What universities teach, what startups build on, what enterprises deploy, what governments control. The question that team in Brooklyn is answering: what if the future of frontier AI isn't locked behind API keys, but released into the world for anyone to build on? Thank you for listening. You can show our podcast team some love with 5 stars and a follow. Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Grep News. Thomas.